Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. If you are watching this on YouTube when it goes out, welcome back to Vlogmas Day 3. Um, I know it's actually the second and I'm cheating, but shh, that's how Vlogmas works sometimes. Um, Today, as you can see, I have a guest. One of my favorite people in drag racing is back. I dragged him back. Um, so I didn't
You just
practice or
start talking.
write
I'm
down
fine.
anything. I'm just talking. Welcome back
That's
to
okay.
Welcome back to the show, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza creator, Elon Werner. Hi.
Hello. And for all of you, please take all the advantage of watching all the vlogs, because the level of time that's being put into these, well worth a watch. Well worth a watch.
Well, thank you. I hope that's true. I have like 3 or 4 edited and ready to go already, so I feel good. We'll see how it goes like later in the month when I have to like do big things. Like I have a puzzle and some Lego I want to do, so we'll see how that works.
You can always fall back on your pack busting, because to me that's a stop down. Anytime I see you busting the 1992 Winston packs,
Yep.
full stop for me.
I have a couple left. I think I have maybe 5 left, but I'm still hoping for the cool hologram one because someone I know
Sure.
got that card. And I'm like, well, if he got it, then I can get it.
Sure. Because the thing about those cards is I stumbled across the 1993 Summer Nationals on the NHRA Fast Channel,
Hmm.
and it's just seeing Jimmy Prock with hair,
Oh my
seeing
gosh,
Mike Green with
yes.
hair. Like, because Jimmy Prock had a sweet mullet. He had the mullet of mullets.
I have one of his cards. I pulled it recently and I was like, oh my God, the hair. It's so good.
Yeah, spectacular. Spectacular. So, so that's cards could be in the future for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Cards
Really?
could be in the future for Drag Race Bracket. But yeah, I'd like to somehow, I don't know. I just think drag racing needs to get cards back,
Yes,
and I'm going to see
100%
if
yes.
maybe we could do some kind of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza card sets or something as like a series prize or something.
You know, it's actually really funny that you even say that because I did think that the other day. When I was writing the promo for this show, I was like, I think that would be a fun thing to do because I'm trying to get everyone to be like, cards are awesome. Let's keep doing it.
Right. And I think I just need to get the thing that's funny is I think Brittany finally signed a plaque, and like Jack Beckman was a new person to sign the plaque. That we're right around 40 drivers that have signed plaques.
Oh wow.
So I think we could do like a 2024, like a, almost kind of quasi your 2024 is your first full season
Hmm.
with some of the 2023 people kind of thrown in to get to some kind of um, picture of them like with their plaques, because we have pictures of most people signing the plaque, and then like some stats on the back of the card.
Yeah, I think that'd be so cool.
But that's um, so we got super excited with how this year went. This is the first full year for Bracket Bonanza. So as you can probably attest to, 20 races is a lot.
Yes. There was a
It's
little bit of a time where I was like, I think I kind of hit after Indy when I almost won everything and then didn't. I was like, oh God, there's more races. I forgot about the countdown.
so, and we tried to break it up with like the four wide little mini series,
Hmm.
and then the majors, the 3 race deal, and then obviously the countdown for the 6 races. Um, and we may look at doing some other little like another mini series. I'm not sure what yet, to just kind of give more people a chance to kind of get engaged during the regular season
Yeah.
that don't have to do all 20. But then for the folks that want to do all 20, because the guy that did all 20 and won, I actually ran into him at Pomona at the World Finals, and he was super excited. because he, is like, he really thought, he's like, I can't wait to see this helmet.
Yeah.
And thanks to Impact for giving me the helmet. Brandon Baker from Baker Design kind of Bonanza it up with our colors. And then the fact that every driver in the countdown was willing to sign it. And then we got the world champs to sign it on the visor. So really, you get 2 Antron Brown autographs. You got 2 Greg Anderson, 2 Gage Ferrers. Because it was funny. We originally had thought about just getting the champs to sign the visor.
Mm-hmm.
So in Vegas, I got almost everybody that was in the countdown to sign it, except for the people that were like in championship contention.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought was that, well, then we'll just get them to sign it, and then we'll get the champs to sign the visor. But then I started thinking between Vegas and Pomona, I was like, I don't really want to go up to somebody on Sunday after they just lost
Yeah.
the championship and are like, hey, could you sign this helmet? So we got everybody to sign it before, like, Friday of Pomona. And then I just told them, hey, you're going to get it. If you win the championship, you'll get a chance to re-sign it on Sunday night, which is what we did.
I think that's super cool. I saw the video, I think it's on Twitter, I saw it earlier, of the visor being signed, and I think that's a really cool touch.
Yeah, we just put that, and even John Force signed it, so we got him to sign it in Pomona, so it has really
That's really special.
truly everybody. Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah.
So, but I couldn't. I mean, this year we learned a ton. We're definitely coming back next year
Mm-hmm.
for the whole season. So, the biggest thing for us is just kind of finding more players, finding
Yeah.
more people to play. So I'm glad you set up a league. We're going to reach out to some tracks. We're going to try to do some kind of track program. It's still very much, we're going to reach out to a bunch of tracks over the off season and see if we can have a track competition.
Oh.
So if you have a track in your local area, Pacific Raceways, or even like your local NHRA track,
Mm-hmm.
if tracks want to start their own league, then we'll actually have a track ranking.
Oh,
So
that's cool. I like that.
tentatively titled the Track Takedown. It's
Ooh,
still a
okay.
working title, but basically have a leaderboard for all the tracks they're playing. So their fans or drivers can play and that deal. So if you have a local track, please let them know we're going to be calling to talk about getting tracks to just do that. So
I think that'd be super cool. We have one here that's closer than Pacific Raceway, the one that I grew up going to. Um, I feel like that would be something they could be into.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
it's a way to, in my head, they could have watch parties. They
Mm-hmm.
could just throw NHRA TV on, you know, in their pits or whatever, and just kind of watch. And even if they're at a local race, they could still be kind of tuned in to the national event and have a little skin in the game and stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, I think that's cool because it takes it to another level. Like, obviously, there's like, for these tracks, there's division championships and all that stuff, and Jags All Stars, and everyone's trying to be the best. But if you can bring a different level to that for not just the drivers, but for the fans as well, I think
right,
that's super great for engagement.
yeah. So that's probably the biggest addition we're looking at making for 2025. We'll have leagues again. Um, we'll have killer prizes. I'm starting to investigate a couple different things, but I really feel like the prizes that we had this year, people are really now. Like I already reached out to the person that I got the plaques from to make sure I could get the same kind of plaques for 2025 because people really kind of dig those.
Yeah, I
And
think they're great.
now it's kind of become a thing. Like, oh, I want to get that plaque.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah. So
Can I make one request?
of course you can. Only one.
Just
Only
one for
one.
now.
Yes, of course. Of
Just
course.
so thinking about leagues,
Mhm.
obviously so many members of the media like myself started our own. But what are the chances we get one for just the media to have like a media takedown to see which of us is like the best?
I know my friend Kelly Crandall would love that at Racer Magazine because she
Mm-hmm.
is hyper competitive. So I would not rule out that we could set up a media league. Yes, I will say that I will get that, and then I will send out the invites, and that way, it's more of a closed,
Yeah.
like not like like WFO and Competition Plus, and a lot of people throw out there,
Yeah.
and you did too to all your people. Hey, here's the code,
Mm-hmm.
join my league. But yeah, I think we could have a media league. I think that would be fun, and I think again, there Bobby Bennett from Competition Plus actually won the Funny Car at the U.S. Nationals this year, so he was super excited about that. Mike Carpenter from Drag Illustrated has won. Dujane Bland has won.
I'm like the
And
only one that didn't win.
there's
I almost
other.
did, and then I was like, I'm seeing everybody else win. I'm like, oh, I want to beat these people.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, Kelly Crandall is very. Um, I don't want. I guess full on competition rage level is probably adequate where she is right now. She's also it's. I know you're a big Seahawks fan,
Yeah.
Kyra, but she's also a fellow Steelers fan with me, so we have a separate Steelers text string
Oh,
that
yeah.
it's the game yesterday with the Bengals where it was back and forth was
Oh
quite
my gosh, I
entertaining.
don't envy you for that game.
Yeah. So yeah, so she also she had a very stressful weekend because she also is a Georgia fan
Oh my
and
god, that's like all the bad
the
things that happened to her.
eight overtime you know
Yeah.
overtime games, close games, all that stuff. So yeah, so the Georgia Tech game not good. So yeah, so she had a rough weekend, but she loves playing Bracket Bonanza. She was one of the early people that tested it for us, and I think that's probably the coolest thing is the media does, is playing and likes to play, and in the press room at the races, it's very funny because sometimes when I walk in, people will just like see me and they're like, "Oh, I better fill out my bracket." Like I'm their trigger. Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, there's Elon. Oh, I better fill out my bracket." So
Well, that's great. I look forward to that because as one of the smaller creators and members of the media,
yes, I agree. But
yeah.
that is a very good idea that I think I'll definitely get that up and running.
Well, I'm super excited about that. I thought you were going to be like, ugh, no more things. We're not adding anything else. I was prepared for
No,
the answer to be
that's
no.
actually that's an easy deal to do.
Okay.
So, but it will be just interesting now, because now I'll have to decide: do I want to really? I swung the pendulum like so many people. Like some races, I would just bet with my heart.
Yeah.
Some I would just try to be logical, and no matter what I did, it was always incorrect.
Same.
Yeah,
It's like I felt so good. All like specifically going into Seattle because I was there. Like that's my home
right.
track. Like I know this place. When I saw the weather, I was like, okay, I feel like I know what's gonna happen. And then Ron Caps blew up and hit the wall. There was funny cars coming into the barriers. Nothing that I thought was gonna happen happened. And I'm sitting there in the stands like, have I ever been to this place? Do I know what happens? Like, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, that was the side of Steve Torrance's lone win, and the Gage Herrera
Yeah.
win streak got broken. That was the weekend. They're like, okay, for all you Gage Herrera contrarians,
Yeah.
that was Chase Van Zandt's first win.
Mm-hmm. And it was like the extra of like for Dallas Glenn because he's a local boy. Like all of us sitting in the stands, like
Right.
all of us Pacific Northwest kids that like grew up with him were like, oh my God, he's gonna get it. And then it was so close. We're like, oh no, not this too. It was
AJ
just
Coughlin, come on.
I know, just the one time. It was just all the things I was like my dad was looking at me like, I thought you were good at this. I'm like, I don't know, man. I can't help you.
No, I'm not. No, I think I'm good. I feel like I'm good. In other circumstances, that could be, but right now I'm not. No, it's just not working out.
It is the most humbled I have ever been in the sport of drag racing playing this game.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the
It
thing that's
is.
so funny is, for the good, we do the graphs, and I think a lot of people do kind of pick based on seeds, which is
Mm-hmm.
natural. But then there are hardcore fans out there that no matter what, they're gonna pick Erica or
Yep.
they're going to pick Justin Ashley, or they're going to pick Antron. And so even when they're not, they start out maybe doing well, but they're going to stick with them. And that's the thing that's our fans are pretty loyal, like like most sports teams, but
Yeah.
they're going to ride that horse until it is dead, and not just dead, but like dead and really, really not coming back.
The horse is
So
glue.
yes, basically straight. Yes, it's straight to the glue factory. So, um, but it was really interesting this year, kind of seeing it grow to the point where it's weird. Like, and we talked about this early on. Like, you make something, you throw it out in the universe, and you're like, oh, people are actually doing this.
Hmm.
Now it's very humbling that you're walking through the pits and people engage you in conversation about Bracket Bonanza, and you have no idea. I mean, they're total stranger. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, are you Bracket Bonanza guy? Are you, hey, Elon, I play Bracket Bonanza all the time, and you're like in Virginia, or you know, the funniest one was Maple Grove. You know, there's a kid AJ and his mom Monica play, and they play religiously every Sunday. And the dad was just like, yeah, that's their thing,
Oh,
which was really kind of cool
yeah.
because that's. And so it was. Abby traveled. He started working for me, my daughter, and it's very funny because some people have asked for autographs, and she just giggles
Oh,
of just like this is just really kind of
yeah.
bizarre, but whatever. But it's cool to see it growing, to see it be successful, to see the drivers continue to engage with it, the teams, and just people. So I just hope it just continues to grow. I think it will because of um, now next year will be the first full year with Play in HRA, which is the
Hmm.
actual gambling online element, and we're still free. Anyone can play, and so we have our own lane. I think it just becomes more recognizable, and it's been around. I think we're gonna see
Yeah.
even more growth and more people playing, which is fun. You know, if you finish in the top 100 every at an event in a category, you've done better than well over 1,000 people
Oh, that's
every
crazy.
race.
Yeah. I think the thing, like for me as well, seeing all the growth on social media, like
Hmm.
I was just like, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, it's like I'm so happy because when I started talking about it, obviously, like it was the beginning, and just to see
Right.
like people, like my friends and like my world who are like IMSA guys and sports car guys and NASCAR guys come to me and be like, this thing seems fun. Can I do this with you? I'm like, yes, please do that. Like,
100%.
it's been
Yes.
so great. Like, it's uniting the communities because everyone loves to do fun things.
Right. And the other thing that happened this year is Jason Beckman, Jack Beckman's son, designs cars. He designed Chris King's funny car design,
Oh, wow.
but
Okay.
he designed a couple. Like he does iRacing,
Oh,
so he does
okay.
like the Truck
Yep.
Series and Xfinity, and so he sent us Braca Bonanza designs on his NASCAR iRacing truck, and was like, "Hey, is it okay if I run this car? Like, can I?" And we were like, "Yeah, this is really." It was so that was really pretty cool to just be like, "Oh, can I,
Yeah.
do this?" And we're like, "Yeah, of course you can." You know, Jack Beckman's kid, and this was way before
Yeah.
he Beckman was, driving versus car. I mean, it was just really neat to see that kind of, almost you take it to like the fan fiction level of like, oh, I really
Hmm.
like this, and now I'm going to make it, you know, a thing. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not ruling out that someday, I would be lying if I said I didn't want to try to potentially have a Braca Bonanza car in competition.
Mm,
You know,
yeah. That'd be so
that
cool.
would be very cool, but it's the logistics of finding the right team, and then obviously you need money to do that, and then also kind of maximizing like the awareness level, like what would be the best
Hmm.
race, to get the eyeballs, to get interest in that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. I feel like I didn't really take any notes. I was just like, we're gonna go. But
I'm just gonna go.
yeah, just we're vibing. That's what we do on this channel. Um, so obviously there was a lot of other things that happened this year. You guys debuted Talking Funny Cars. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So the NHRA has the Fast Channel, which is like the free digital TV channel.
Hmm.
So if you have a Roku or Tubi or Samsung TV, any of the like you just all that menu on your TV that you can. NHRA has they show old races, they show the current races. Brian Loans has some content on there that's like the podcast type stuff. They put a call out earlier this year for content, like, hey, if you have content ideas, and Buddy Hull wanted to do some interesting things, and I reached out to him and was like, what do you think about doing a talk show? Since you're new to Funny Car, where you just talk to Funny Car guys. I love the Funny Car class, and just two guys just talking about how cool it is to be Funny Car drivers. So we did a pilot with Cruz. Cruz was nice enough to do the pilot for us, and the NHR was like, "Yeah, we kind of dig this." So in Virginia, we did three. We did Ron Capps, Blake Alexander, and Dave Richards. I got a backdrop. We got a hotel like ballroom and just set it up in there, and filmed all three of them. Sent them the Capps version, and they were like, we had a backdrop that was like kind of red and kind of artsy and had the big logo in the middle. And they were, NHR was like, yeah, that background is visually assaulting. The Caps, the Caps, the Caps interview was captivating enough that we can we can air the Caps one, but you got to get it. So sadly, the Dave Richards and Blake Alexander didn't make it. We still have the audio, which we're probably going to use for a podcast.
Mm.
Um, but then we just had to go to some different backgrounds for we filmed three more in Sonoma at an event center on the property with Austin and Paul Lee and Dan Wilkerson. And the interesting thing is with digital TV, it's normally a 30-minute show,
Hmm.
but like Dan Wilkerson's content was so good, we were able to go to an hour.
Oh wow.
Same thing with Jack Beckman. We had so much good content that we were able to go for an hour, and you can kind of be flexible with that. So it's taken off. Every show has gotten more. It's weird how they kind of track how many people watch on digital TV
Hmm.
because it's not like a Nielsen rating deal. Um, so we're working on getting some hard numbers, but I know that the Dan Wilkerson episode was the most watched TV show on the NHRA's Fast Channel this year,
Oh wow.
and our shows are consistently the highest performing shows because we're kind of it's the premieres are appointment TV. It's Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern
Hmm.
on their dates. We did 9 of them this year. Um, so we're able to drive some out, but then they go into rotation. So like right now, if you just go to your Roku and look at your schedule, I guarantee you in the next 2 days there'll be a Talking Funny Car with Buddy Hull on at least a couple times. So and we have a YouTube channel too, which you can see all 9 episodes on YouTube. Um, and they're actually a little bit longer because we didn't have to edit them down.
Mm, yeah.
So you get a little bit more content on YouTube. Um, and again, I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't know how metrics work or anything.
Yeah.
But we started putting them on YouTube about 3 or 4 months ago, and we're closing in on 600 subscribers. I'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year,
Yeah.
just for that round number. And but some of them, I think over 5,000 people have watched the Beckman episode, and
Oh wow.
3,000 people watched the Billy Meyer episode.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of cool. And I think we'll probably have a few legends next year,
Ooh.
like Billy,
Hmm.
because Billy's telling stories about how when he was racing his funny car, he was also doing land speed stuff with Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham. So
Wow.
like Burt Reynolds was involved in his drag racing career, and
Yeah.
that's how he got his sponsors is because he knew Hal Needham, who was the movie producer of like Cannonball Run and Stroker Ace. Um, so Hal, like Billy would get a sponsor, and then those sponsors would be in Cannonball Run and Stroker Ace. So like if you watch
Okay.
Stroker Ace,
Yeah.
all the sponsors in that race were like Hawaiian Tropic and
Hmm.
7-Eleven and Chief, and they're all of Billy's drag racing sponsors. That he's like, hey, if you were on my funny car, I can get you in this movie. Or some of them were even like Tropic was a deal where they were already kind of involved on the movie side, but wanted to get into the actual racing side,
Mm, okay.
and we're like, oh, well, you can get on this funny car.
Yeah.
So, and Billy
That's
tells all those stories in the episode, so you can see it on our YouTube channel. But it's very funny, um, just the way Billy tells it. Because Buddy asked him, he's like, "What was your coolest sponsor experience?" And he's like, "Oh, Hawaiian Tropic."
hmm
He goes that he actually had a sponsor fall out at the last minute and was able to find Hawaiian Tropic, and they basically wrote him the full season sponsorship check in January.
Jeez.
And the only requirement he had to do, besides just the racing stuff, was take the car to um, Speed Weeks in Daytona for a week, which is like racing spring break.
Yeah.
That was his only like store appearances. No, nothing. It was just okay.
Jeez.
You need to do this display for a week on Daytona Beach, and that's it. And then also here's all your money up front.
You would never. That would never happen today.
Yeah, not in a million years.
No.
You not in a million years. It's crazy. So yeah, so the Talking Funny Cars, we're going to do it again next year, and I've got a couple other ideas for some shows. But it's just every PR guy is truly a frustrated TV or movie producer.
Yeah.
That's
Other
basically
people have told me that. Yeah.
yeah. So and again, it's just something that I kind of knew what I was doing, but I
Hmm.
was truly kind of building an airplane while I was flying it, of being responsible for getting the production crew and the editing and the guests and finding the space and coming up with the questions and the kind of coaching Buddy. Buddy's a tremendous natural talent, just his
Hmm.
personality, and he's a good listener, and like he would take the shows in just wild directions. But we just kind of learned a lot um, along the way, and it really helped raise his profile because his on the track they had a tough season,
Yeah.
but you had this whole other area where you're promoting yourself and talking about the sport, and so that was probably the biggest benefit was you got people, you gave some drivers, like one of my favorite episodes is the JR Todd episode,
Hmm.
um because JR was just able to talk in more than just 30-second or 1 minute sound bites.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys are really engaging when you just let them tell stories, you know? And that's a side that they don't normally get to share too often. So I was excited to be able to kind of bring that out. So Talking Funny Cars will return next year. Um, and then I'll probably maybe have one other show that's rattling around in my head, that's also kind of a little bit different interview style show. But it was funny because I had non funny car drivers coming up to me like, well, when are you going to do a show for us?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I would love to, but these are all, I have Warner Communications, which is the PR company, and then I have Warner Games and Entertainment,
Hmm.
which is Braco Bonanza, and those things currently are all being fueled by all the money that I'm making. There's not a lot of outside money coming in, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So I'm working on getting some outside money coming in so we can do some more crazy stuff. So instead of palatial vacations, I drive a 2003 Honda Odyssey with 335,000 miles on it. If I wouldn't have done Bracket Bonanza and the TV shows, I could be in a really kick-ass GMC Yukon Denali, probably.
Someone sponsor this man and give him loads of money. Let him upgrade his ride.
Because Big Blue could be on his last legs.
Oh no.
He's struggling out there.
Well,
Yeah,
I
so
will.
it's
I'm gonna link everything in the description of this video, all the YouTube channels and all the things, so everybody can
oh
watch
awesome.
everything. I
Yeah, that'd
really
be
thought
fantastic.
that Talking Funny Cars was a super cool concept from the beginning. Um, so I'm glad that people really like it, and I think having Buddy Hole do it was like so smart because, like you said, even though he does race for a team that like everybody knows who their name, they didn't have the best on track presence this year. So I think this was like a super great way to get his name out there.
That's another thing that you just. I mean, I have there's drivers that I'm fans of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a huge Ron Capps fan. I
Same.
mean, so when Capps tells you afterwards, A, how much fun it was, and B, that, hey, this is a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe, A, somebody hasn't done this before, or this is really cool. And like Cruz was the same way. And like Beckman and even Billy were like, man, this is really actually pretty cool to just get funny car guys talking about being funny car guys.
Yeah.
So that's satisfying and humbling, and it just really only fuels the fire to make it be as the best it can be because these guys, you're kind of promoting their class and you like all the guys in it and stuff. And I think there's something unique about funny car guys. They all had this common thread of how they talk about driving funny cars versus because a fair number of them raced um, top fuel dragsters or did sportsman stuff or pro mods.
Yeah.
And they all talk about when they got in a funny car for the first time and the body came down, they all have their own stories about, and this is badass.
Yeah.
And like even Cruz was talking about, he goes, you can just walk by a funny car, just you see a funny car sitting there, and you just think that's pretty effing cool.
I mean, it's like
You
being
know?
strapped into a rocket ship. Like, it's the coolest
Yeah,
thing, one of the coolest things you can do on land, in my opinion.
right, right. And those guys will tell you that too, and also just the way it's designed with the body coming down over you, and just the way you see out of it, and yeah, it's really that was probably another thing that's really fun was just kind of being able to just be a fly on the wall
Mm.
while those guys are talking about some of the really kind of intricacies or like the inside baseball type stuff about how they drive the car or what happens when it blows up or and we got some good hot button issues because they're both Hagen and Beckman are not a fan of tethers, so they
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about that a little bit. You got J.R. Todd talking about this new steering wheel he's designing with Max Pappas.
Yes, I
And
think that is so crazy because I was a Max Pappas fan for so long. I'm a big fan of
yeah,
what he does with his company. So I think the fact that he's come into drag racing is just the coolest
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And the fact that just so many things currently are the way they are because that's just the way they've always been.
Yeah.
And for JR to be like, you know what? I mean, I know why the butterfly is like it is, the steering wheel, but it could be better. And then you see what he's designed with Max, and you're like, I would get one of those in my car.
Yeah.
It was just like that cool. Um, so I think those are the kind of things that you just don't normally wouldn't get. They kind of get touched on the Fox broadcast,
Hmm.
but to be able to long form it is really pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
and I have an idea for a Bracket Bonanza show, and I almost tried to do it this year, and I'm so glad I didn't because I would be dead now. We would not be doing the show because
Why?
I was insane enough to think that I want to do a Sunday night like a bracket breakdown show.
Oh, geez.
That I had the idea for like basically like at the Super Bowl or football games where they have the console desk
Yeah.
and they're like right beside the field. I wanted, and I still am not ruling it out. I just again, it would need a whole team to do it. But basically, at the end of the race, you have a console desk that 2 or 3 people could stand behind. You set it right on the track, so all the winner circle stuff is going on in the background. And you do like a bracket breakdown show. Bracket buster upsets,
Mm-hmm.
bring some winners over, have someone, but have, and just like almost live to tape right there. And we could do it live to the Fast Channel
Oh yeah.
because they do and do that. So that's again floating out in the universe of ideas. But to do it Sunday night, full on bracket breakdown show.
Oof. That seems like a tough one.
Right. So that would be I would just need a strike force to do that for me, and I could just kind of be around and make sure, hey, pop in. But again, it's just I have my PR client requirements, and then I have this other stuff. So it's just kind of balancing that. So
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, if you can find a whole team and do all the planning necessary and don't kill yourself over it, then I think it's super cool and you should totally do it.
right. But I just think there's room for that in the universe that you could
Yeah, for sure.
make that happen.
Because we
Um,
really don't have anything like that. I feel like there used to be more, like people
there
used
was
to
like,
think about those things more, and now it's just kind of like, eh.
yeah, I think a little bit of that is social media's taken a little bit of that of like, oh, I can just put on, I can just do my race recaps on Twitter or that, that,
Yeah.
and the other. Drag Illustrated does a recap show
Hmm.
with Kayla. That's pretty good. But to me, there's just something cool about being on the track with stuff going on in the back, like just that vibe
Yeah.
that you could just grab somebody and bring a crew chief over or bring a driver over, whether they were a winner or loser, and talk about how the bracket played out,
Hmm.
um, and then get a bracket buster that might be floating, and just kind of just spice up the race a little bit. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think the fans would really like that too. Because I've noticed of all the little like extras and things like the tip sheets and all those things like that, the fans have really taken to those things.
yes, and the funny thing is we added that Monday like race recap email,
Hmm.
um, and that's interesting how that kind of came about. Again, um, Bob McLear, who's I guess kind of the main marketing guy or GM for John Force Racing,
Okay.
I didn't really play before, and I'd been talking to him about it. So he played like right around Indy.
Oh
It's the
wow, okay.
first time he ever played. So he signed up, um, and then at the end he was like, "Hey, I figured out how to sign up. It was very easy. I played." And he goes, "But I didn't really. I don't know how I finished,
Mm.
and I didn't. I got busy, and I didn't really go back and see." He goes, "So you do the early email, then you do the tip sheet, you do the reminder emails." He goes, "But there's not really an after race email."
Hmm.
He goes, "So it's almost like an unfinished loop." And I was like, he's right. So we basically started making this race recap email, and it's our second most opened email.
Oh wow.
The first one is Saturday night,
Hmm.
brackets are open, and then it's the Monday recap because people want to see how they did.
Yeah.
And there's a button on there, you can click it, and it takes you right to the leaderboard.
Well, I think that's great. I don't ever need to use it because I'm usually at the bottom and I know that.
Yeah. I can usually tell how I did by how black the smoke is from the dumpster fire in my backyard.
Hmm. Yeah. I didn't, like I said, I had the one where I was like really good at India. I almost won everything. And then I did well in my own league, but I was in Bob Tasca's Tasca Nation League and I finished third
Yep,
at the end of the year. And I feel good about that. For some reason, that one was
that's
like
pretty good.
less intimidating because there was like less people.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people in that one, and that's a pretty because Tasca's kids play, and they're legit. They've won
Yeah.
plaques, so that's impressive.
I'm just happy with the fact that I was better than Joey Little because he was so sassy to me when we met in Seattle. So that's my little bit like, haha, in your face.
Yeah, he's sassy with everybody. He's sassy with everybody, so he's fine.
Yeah. Um, I don't think I addressed it on here when I opened the show, but merch. I'm wearing it. You have it on your head. Like, we
Yes,
talked about it before the show, but guys, go buy the
yes, we have
merch.
merch. Get the merch, and it's still time to buy it for Christmas. And we'll have some new merch because we had like a concert type T-shirt
Hmm.
this year that had all the event dates on it. So we'll for sure do that one. But the sweatshirt you're wearing is tried and true. The hats are tried and true. Um, and the throwback ringer T-shirts, they're
Hmm.
pretty good sellers too. So I'm still, I know we've sold a few of them, but that'll probably be the next like outer body experience for me is if I see a fan walking through the pits wearing Braca Bonanza merch.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna be like, oh, damn it, we really have made it.
Yeah.
Because I see people because Drag Illustrated does a really good job with their merch. Competition Plus does a pretty good job. So you see that stuff floating around every now and then, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to see somebody wearing a Drag Race Braca Bonanza shirt. So
I did have one person tell me, I think it was someone in my league, after I posted the video when I bought this, that they were going to buy a shirt. So at least one of my
yes,
dudes came through and bought
yes,
one.
for sure. You get yeah. So it's funny how we brought it up, and then people see it and stuff. But so I will throw that bounty out there that if I see you at a race wearing Braca Bonanza merch, I will do everything in my power to make sure you meet your favorite driver.
Ooh. I just got very distracted. A
That'll
huge
be.
bird just flew by the window, so sorry about that.
I was curious if your house was being robbed and you were just watching people carry flat screen TVs out.
Well, there's like all of a sudden a lot of stuff happening. Like my neighbor's getting their lawn mowed, like someone's getting a massive delivery, and then there was just this giant bird, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, you see, I have the shades closed behind me because I'm the same way. I'm looking just at another bookcase because if I had anything, I would also be the same guy that's just like,
Well, there's usually nothing happening at this time, so I was like, okay, cool. Plus, I need the lighting, but it's just all the things are happening today.
yes, that's fair. Yeah, so we have merch. Um, we're gonna have cool prizes next year. But the good thing is, I think we did a big revamp this year to go, but we'll still have the stats and the pictures, um, and things like that. So we just want people to play and have fun and maybe join their track league. So
Yes, definitely do that. And I feel like that could potentially lend itself to another opportunity for like track specific merch if that's something that anyone wants to get
yeah,
into.
yeah, they can totally. Anybody and really, like, Jason Beck, we send out decals with prizes, our logos out there. So we're not we're not to the NFL level where when you use the NFL or the Olympic marks, you get letters from lawyers. You want to express your fandom with Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, we will welcome it. We will share it on our social media. So
Well, it's nice to know that you're not going to do what F1 does to their fans and send out cease and desist letters.
no, we I would like to get to the level where that could be a problem, but I still think I'll be like the guy that runs Costco that they sell the hot dogs for $1.50, and someone was
Yes.
like, "We really need to sell hot dogs for more than $1.50," and he's like, "You change the price of the hot dogs, I will fire you."
Yeah.
That's why I feel like you know never say never, but I would always like for Braca Bonanza to always be free and to always be anyone can play. So
Hmm.
I just want it to be a big tent for everybody to get involved in.
Yeah, and I appreciate that as, like I said earlier, one of like the smaller creators when it all started. Um, because everybody having a chance to grow and not have to worry about like, am I going to get in trouble for talking about this is just the best thing.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny that people were like, "Oh, can we do?" Yeah, of course you can do this. Oh, can we? Can I get a decal to put on my car? Of course you can. Love that. That's fantastic. So,
Yeah, can I request a sticker? I don't
oh
have
yes,
one.
for sure. Yes, I will. Yes, I will get you. I will get you. I'll get you a variety of sizes. So I'm going to make a note of that real quick.
I need
Okay.
to put one on my cup here because I put stickers on all my cups. And this one only
Okay.
has
We can definitely.
Seahawks and
We
then
have,
my USC logo.
yes, there you go.
All right, well, I'm 2 for 2 on the things I asked for today. I don't know how that happened.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Kind and generous overlord. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. I try to be a benevolent dictator.
Gosh, let's see. So I guess, is there anything that you can't talk about that maybe in the off season we can test or look forward to as members of the media?
Well, we're going to do some beta testing, so we probably will, because we did a survey. Did you get a survey?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you do the survey?
Yes.
That's fair. Okay, because that's the thing. If you're playing, we sent out a survey, so we'll probably have you'll probably get a chance to maybe um, make your own track because we'll want to do like some kind of beta testing of the track
Hmm.
formatics. So you may get a chance to be, hey, I want you to create a track league for us to just test on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the biggest beta test thing is going to be us working out the kinks of the track functionality of whether we just want to make it kind of its own separate league or do we want to kind of trick it up and things like that. Um, and the other thing that we're going to try to do is a referral program
Okay.
where um, if you're already playing and we're internally talking about how like what an appropriate incentive would be, and is it kind of looking at it almost like the Mission Foods Challenge on the NHRA side,
Hmm.
where if you got 10 people to um, join, and they basically said, I'm joining because Kyra told me to, or they basically, who was your referral person?
Hmm.
That if you got 10 people to join, then, and they played 5 games, they played 5 times, then would you get um, 5 extra points on your overall total for the U.S.
Hmm.
Nationals.
Okay.
So that's going to be some of the probably the deal is there may be a chance to do some more feedback kind of focus group stuff where we reach out and maybe do like a Zoom call with some people and we just basically throw out ideas and then almost do a town hall vote kind of deal of like would you be ticked off if someone just referred a bunch of people and they played and then they got 10 points for the U.S. Nationals for their overall
Right.
kind of deal. So those are the things that we're now kind of fine tuning type stuff. And then
Yeah.
I'm also open to. I know uh, you mentioned your league prize.
Hmm.
Um, so getting ideas of hey, what are some other potential prize? We did. I think we'll do. I loved the major trophies that Katie Butera did. Apple Art Girl
Yeah, those were
for the
super
U.S.
cool.
Nationals, Winter Nationals. Those were legit. Um, I think those are going to become a thing. I probably need to come up with a better trophy for like the 4 wide cup.
Mm.
Uh, just because the way that worked out is, it was one of those things where I reached out to my guy and he's like, "Oh, I got this guy's. He just happens to have. I think we needed like 5 trophies or 6 trophies or whatever it was, and he actually just had 5 that were going out of stock.
Mm.
So I got a really good deal on the trophies, and then we paid to have them the the labels made. So, but I would like to kind of have a better, not just a better themed trophy for the 4 wide cup.
Yeah.
So, champ belts, I think people dig the champ belts.
Yeah, those are awesome.
So, and it was cool to see the NHRA did champ belts for the world champions this year. They did AEW champ belts
I saw that. I thought those were, I
that
think
were
it's so
legit.
fun. Like, we're bringing it back. It's so cool.
Those were seeing them in person. Those were just like the AEW world championship belts.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they were
Because they
they were
looked awesome in the
badass.
pictures.
They looked even better in person. Super super cool. So, um, and you just want something that can be kind of displayed. That's also kind of cool. Um, so I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of all the tricking up, all like um, all the turnover things you see. Like the Miami, has the turnover necklaces,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've seen UNLV actually has a physical slot machine on their sideline
Oh,
now after turnovers.
love that. Wouldn't expect anything
Yeah,
else, but I love it.
it's worth a Google because it's if you just type in like UNLV turnover slot machine because it's like a full size arm bandit. Like they come over there and then it's very
Yeah.
funny and it's so Vegas. It's like the
Oh my
most
gosh,
Vegas
yes.
thing going. So um, that's probably the biggest deal. And I'd like to get some celebrities to pick brackets. So we had good turnout when we had people picking brackets against like Larry Dixon and Ace and Warren and Angel for the U.S. Nationals. I'd like to get again kind of way to grow more
Hmm.
players if you get someone like Cletus or
Oh
Dale
my
Earnhardt
gosh,
Jr.
yes.
or like a person that's in drag racing that's also kind of has a good following
Hmm.
that they fill out a bracket and then you can pick your bracket against that person.
I feel like
Um,
there's a lot of people who would love to do something like that against someone like a Cletus or a Tom Bailey because those are dudes
yeah,
that they think they can beat anyway on track. So let's just give them another chance to beat them. Like,
yeah, exactly. And like Tom Bailey's a great person with the Sick the magazine. So, and I was just on a conference call with him, so I may actually just reach out and
I was gonna ask,
see if he'll
have
do
you
that.
talked to Tom about like doing some sort of like collaboration or anything? Because that would be like
I
the ultimate.
haven't on Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. I also help out the Pro Superstar Shootout.
Hmm.
So we just announced a collaboration between Sick the Mag and Pro Superstar Shootout for January and February. But what I love about Tom is he is a true drag racing contrarian,
Yeah.
like nonconformist. So I love Tom, and I've just gotten to know him and kind of have some interactions with him. And he speaks a lot of truth about PR, which is very
Yeah.
funny because I think he's got some very hot sports opinions about PR. So he would be a good guy, but I could also easily see him through no fault of mine being like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. That's just garbage.
Yeah, no, that is the other side of that. He will tell you exactly what he thinks.
Yes, which I'm fine. I have very tough skin because I love Don Prudhomme. I feel like I've got a great relationship with Prudhomme. We've worked together, we've hung out, and I asked him to be a guest on Talking Funny Car with Buddy Hall,
Oh, wow.
and I felt pretty good about it.
Did he say no?
And he was just like, "No, that's not really my cup of tea." And I was
Oh,
like, "No problem." And
yeah.
he was super apologetic about it. He's like, "Man, and I was like, "Don," I was like, "Don't." I mean, you don't. I was just asking. I didn't want to not
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah, the answer is
You
always
don't have
no
to
until
do
you
it.
ask.
It's you don't you miss every shot you don't take.
Exactly.
And but it was just really one of those things of he was just like, no, that's not, and I was like, okay, cool, no
Yeah.
problem. You know, you're the snake. You sign your text with snake emojis. You can
Which
get away
is
with that.
still like the most on brand and coolest thing. He's the only person that can get away with
Yes,
doing that. It's super
yeah.
douchey if anyone else does it.
You say that, but then Ace McCullough signs his text with the Ace of Spades emoji,
Oh my god. Of course he does. Like, why
and
wouldn't he? Like
It's the coolest thing ever.
in my
Like,
head,
let me tell
none
you
of
how
these guys know how to text because, but of course they do
they're
that.
all 80.
Yeah.
They're all like 80 in there. But when I did like for the U.S. Nationals, when we had the celebrities fill out their brackets, Larry just basically filled his out and took a picture of it and texted it to me, and so did Angel.
Hmm.
Ace and Warren, I had to call. I called them on Sunday night, and I wish I would have had some kind of recording with me with Ace
Mm.
because we went through the first round, pretty quickly. This guy, this guy, this guy. We get to the second round, and he was like, and I don't. I'm just gonna. I may miss the matchup wrong, but he was like, man, he goes, Beckman and J.R. Todd. He's like, huh, and that's a tough one. And then he's like, thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm on the end of the phone going, this is the coolest thing ever. And from that point on, quarterfinal picks, semifinal picks, it probably took 10 minutes. Where the majority of the time was just Ace just kind of going, well, this guy, but it's Indy and this crew chief. I mean, just
Yeah.
full, like really putting the time in. And Warren was much more straightforward. He knew, and he picked Aaron Stanfield to win the U.S. Nationals.
Oh
He
wow.
actually picked the winner. But it was also very funny because I don't know Warren that well, so the person that connected me with him was like, "Oh, hey, basically just call the shop, and most likely Eileen, his wife, will answer, and then just tell her what and then email and all this stuff." So I was like, "Cool." So I sent him an email, like to ask, and then like the next day I was going to follow up call, and so I called the shop, and Eileen doesn't answer. Warren answers,
Oh gosh.
and I'm in full panic mode.
Hmm.
Oh, hey, Warren, this is Elon Werner, and he's like, uh huh. And I was like, sent an email yesterday, and he's like, I didn't see any email. So I was just like, then I'm like in hyper panic mode,
Yeah.
and I kind of explained to him what I wanted to do, and he's like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I'll do that. He goes, you just want to call me Sunday night? And I was like, yes, sir. And he's like, okay. Well, I'll talk to you then. And then that was
Wow.
just like, they were all super cool about it. So that'll probably be the biggest thing is getting some celebrity guessers to just kind of and working out the mechanism of kind of what exactly that looks like and stuff like that. So
Yeah. No, I think that's great. When I told my guys because I made a channel in the Discord for Drag Race Rock
right,
Bonanza, and then everyone was like, "Well, not all of us have Discord," so I was like, "Ugh, we're getting a group chat, like whatever." When I told them about the legends, they were all super excited, even the ones that didn't,
yeah,
they're not Drag Race guys, and I got to like explain a little bit. So seeing their excitement was like cool to me because I was like, "Oh shoot!" Like I if I beat any of these people, I feel like I know something, and like I've been in this for so long.
right,
So just seeing all the excitement, I was like, okay, cool. Like
yeah. I did not beat any of the legends,
I didn't either.
but it was also funny because Larry. I mean, TJ Zizzo was almost number one qualifier.
Hmm.
I mean, he broke his blower belt, and that he would have probably been number one. So he looked like a really good car and all these things. And so, but he unfortunately lost in the first round. And there's some upsets just naturally, like for everybody else. And as soon as Top Fuel finished, I got a text from Larry that said, "Never bet on drag racing." And I was
Yeah.
like, truer words have never been texted because it's
Yep.
just, you know, it's just so you can be doing so well until you're not doing well.
It is. I say this all the
So
time. You can think you know everything, but it is the most right place, right time sport in the entire world.
yes, for sure.
But that's one of the things that makes it fun because
Oh,
you have no idea. Like,
it does, and that's what I get. You see the tweets and the Instagram posts and the Facebook posts of like, hey, I really thought I knew a lot about drag racing and I really don't know anything, or this is going to be my week, or when people do win, their level of excitement of like feel like they caught lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Because we really haven't had any. We've had some people that won a class and did well in the others, and that also got them the overall
Mm.
win at an event. But we have not had like a lot of repeat winners,
Mm-hmm.
like a guy that's won like 3 races in 1 year.
Right.
I think that's really pretty interesting, and we're still, I think, 5 or 6 states short of having winners in. We have never had a Hawaii winner. We haven't had an Alaska winner. I think Idaho is one of the states.
Mm.
Um, Vermont may be a state that they haven't had a winner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a real weird mix of states that do have tracks and do have but just we get it. But we do. It seems like every race, when I send out the plaques, they are spread around the country. Like I feels like I always wind up sending one to the West Coast, kind of
Mm-hmm.
one to the East Coast, a couple to the Midwest, and invariably, I feel like every 4th race, I'm sending a plaque to Canada.
That's
Yeah,
that's really interesting, actually.
yeah, we probably have mailed 7 or 8 plaques to Canada this year.
Oh wow.
So, which I think is also super interesting that we get, um, you know, players that win. We've sent stuff to the UK. We've sent stuff to Germany.
Yeah, that was my next
Um,
question. Like, what's the international following been like?
Pretty good. It's probably 4 or 5% of our players,
Oh wow.
like which is a pretty good,
Yeah.
which is a pretty good number. And we dodged a bullet because one guy won this year and he was living in the Philippines,
Oh my gosh.
and I was like, how much is it going to cost me to send a plaque to the Philippines? But luckily, he was coming back to the States to visit his brother in Vegas, and was like, hey, yeah, just mail the plaque to my brother in Vegas, and I'll get it when I come visit him. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, okay, cool. I
Because
don't have to go bankrupt now.
usually it inside baseball, it's about $15 to mail a plaque.
Mm-hmm.
Like into Canada, it's like 25.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the deal.
All right.
Which
Well,
again is pretty good. Pretty good. I tell people all the time. I go, it's pretty good prizes for a free game.
yeah. Yeah, I always make sure to tell people that. I'm like, yeah, this is free, but you win awesome things. Like there's no other free game where you're not winning like a piece of cardboard that has like something stupid on it or like a pen. Like these are legit like prizes. And
Yeah.
it's not just like the plaques, it's all the other things that you guys do throughout the year as well that makes it like super intriguing for people who
Yeah.
aren't just
So we're
like
gonna.
drag racing people like, hey, I can win something.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, like, Antron sends extra stuff. Like when he wins a race, his marketing guy Ted is like, hey, we want to send extra stuff, so they get like extra Atco autographed hats
Oh
or
wow.
stuff. So they've really kind of leaned into
Yeah.
that, which is very cool and appreciated. So
Well, that is super cool. Let's see.
yeah.
Oh, we've been going for over an hour. Look at us. And I had nothing prepared
Look at
when I
that.
started.
Look at that. So when I just appreciate you having me on and talking about the game and promoting it and coming up with good ideas and kind of wanting to make it better. So I can't thank you enough for being an early adopter. And I still crack up that it's well over a year ago that Abby sent me a link to one of your posts and was like,
Oh my gosh,
"Hey,
yeah.
there's a podcaster in Seattle talking about Bracket Bonanza," and that was truly like one of the first kind of like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Sent me the link," and I'm just like, "Okay, this is like possibly the most non-traditional drag racing person I've seen in a while talking about
That's
Bracket
me.
Bonanza." I was like, "This is like really cool." So thank you very much for just continuing to, um, you know, promote it and do all the good stuff.
Well, I love it. I think it's so fun. Like I didn't expect anything to come out of it either when I started talking about it, because it was just like a random thing I said at the end of show, like, oh, by the way, there's this thing I've been doing. And I didn't think you were going to see it. Because I say things all the time and like nothing ever happens. Although one of my mods, I know who it is. He won't admit to it, but one of my mods earlier in the year, when I was making picks for the Rolex 24 Daytona, I said something when I was picking a team about one of the drivers. I said, I believe in the power of Daniel Morad. And he sent that clip to Daniel Morad, and then he talked about me on his own show. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
Yes, that's so funny, isn't it?
It's the
It's like the
weirdest
most meta
feeling.
thing
Yeah.
ever. Yeah, there's three
So,
or four things that I've thrown out into the universe that I'm just really, if they can happen, you'll definitely be one of the first people to know
and I
because
appreciate
they
that.
just so
No, it's just been like so fun for me to be able to like have something to talk about. Because sometimes it, like I said, it's like if people don't really, they're not super into drag racing and they don't get it, it's not like fun to listen to. But this has been like an
right.
extra fun thing just for everyone. Like I
Yeah.
said, bringing the communities together.
Yep. That's the whole, that's the whole thing is you just want to give people a reason to share their enjoyment of drag racing with other people and have some fun and, pick your drivers, win cool prizes, whole deal.
Yeah, I also want to say to anyone, because I said I'm going to link everything. If you guys buy any of the merch, we want to see it. Tag all of
Yes.
us. Everything will be
Yeah. And
below.
then wear it to a race.
Yes.
And I wander around a lot. If you wear it to a race, guaranteed, I will most likely find you. And then we'll make sure you meet. If you haven't already met your favorite driver, I'll make sure we make that happen. Unless you're a serial killer. If you look like a serial killer, I'm not going to.
There's like two people in my head. I was like, yeah, those people can't buy merch then.
Yeah. But if you're personable, then I'm sure Well, hey, serial killers need to meet their drag racing heroes too. So
Everybody gets a chance.
everyone gets a shot. So
I think one other thing I wanted to say is we personally need to be better at planning, because we missed each other at Seattle this year, and I was just
totally.
like all over the place, and I was like, oh God.
I thought about texting you at least 3 times, and I know I even stopped one time to start texting you, and a driver came up and asked me a question about something because they just saw me stand, and then that just totally. So yes,
Yeah, because no, I had that
2025 is
same
going to be
thought
the
too. I
year
was like, there was a couple times when I
of
would
official
like
handshake at the track.
during all the breaks that we were having in Seattle for rain and door cars and all
Oh
the
yeah,
things. There was a couple times where I was like, I should just text him.
so
Yeah.
totally. Okay, we'll make sure that happens.
Yes.
Or if you want to come to another race, you don't just
Okay.
have to see races in Seattle. If you break out of the Pacific Northwest,
I'm trying to figure out what traveling is going to look like for next year, because I kind of coming out of this year was a big coming out of like a big family situation for me, and having to
sure,
like be here to deal
right?
with like a lot of stuff. So I think I have a little more wiggle room for next year. So I'm trying to see like maybe I
Look
want
at
to
it.
go do some things,
Yeah. Well,
because I will
if
say
drag racing falls in that universe, let me know. We'll make sure it happens.
absolutely. I think it would be hilarious for everyone to see the height difference between the two of us, because you are giant and I am
Yes,
so very little. I'm five
it
foot
would be
two.
comical. Also, Caps touched on that because I put a Cap stand up in a Napa store, and just the way the picture was taken, it looks like I'm 9 feet tall and he's 3 feet tall. And he posted a picture of it and was like, "Just so you know, Elon is a very tall person." So,
But yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited about for the future, and
yes,
everyone should sign up and be part of all the things. Sign up for the
we'll
main
definitely
league,
make that happen.
sign up for mine when I do another one.
Yes,
Overhaul is coming to the podcast, and
nice.
yeah, there's, some things I've been thinking about. Nobody knows this. This is kind of like breaking news.
Oh,
But yeah, so a lot to be excited about for everyone on both sides. I think
Well, I wandered into an area without my power cord, so I have about 5 more minutes of power. Not to wrap the show up on you.
no, I was literally about to like do my outro, so it works out fine.
There you go. Perfecto. 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys. Um, like always, I appreciate you, and we both appreciate you being part of our communities and putting up with our BS and doing all the things that we ask you to do because you're just the best
Yes.
people. Um, so excited to just grow in the future and do more stuff. And you'll see more of our faces together next year. I think I'll have you on the show at least, I'm thinking, beginning of the year, maybe before Indy, and then again at the end. And then if anything else
Yes.
pops up between then, we can do more stuff, obviously.
100%. And then I will get the Media League off the ground.
I'm so
And
excited
then I'll
about
also
that.
get you some stickers. Perfect.
But yeah, like I said, I will link everything below so you guys can be in the know, buy merch, do all the things. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for Vlogmas. New
Yes, for
videos
sure.
every single day till the
Yes.
24th. Um, but yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. I will see you next time, which is sometime in the new year. I don't know. I'm not doing any more live streams for the rest of the year. I got too much going on.
Wow, the live stream finale for me, that's
I
big.
know. And I did it on December 2nd.
There you go.
I didn't waste any time. Um, but yeah, I think I want to say thank you to you for coming on the show and being part of the chaos because we're a little bit chaotic over here, but
Yeah.
we
Here
also
for it.
just vibe. Go with the vibes.
Exactly. For sure. Excellent.
Um, but yeah, so I will see you guys next time. Keep an eye on YouTube and all the other things. And oops, I hit the wrong button. And yeah, have a great holiday, everybody, and see you in January. Bye, guys.